Hello everybody, my name is Aryan Chudasma and today I will be giving you a brief code explanation and implementation in my 3D tower defense game called Guardians of the Garden. You may or may not have watched the gameplay demo before, but you should watch it. It shows you, it's very helpful. Okay, so let's start with the attacker. Okay, so here it says require component type of box collider, rigid body and health. This just means that it will need a box collider, obviously, a rigid body very much, and health. The rigid body is used for collision checks and raycasts, so I will not be using raycasts much. Maybe not at all. So the health script, just going to open that up, is the health script. So it will most certainly need a health script. So moving on. So we have a public float health. Should be. Then there is a public game object remnant. This just tells us what it will, the particle effects and all that. This is used for that. Then mesh filter renderer. This is used for the cone changing you might have seen in the demo screenplay. I suggest you go there. Then these are the meshes. It will only accept the first three meshes. Whatever is after the first three meshes, it's just ignored. And then wait time between remnants. How much time do you have to wait before creating the next remnant? So let's start. We need this just to check if this, and for the setting and all that. So we set the start health to the current health in the start script, and then there is a void revive health. I don't think I'm ever going to be using it, but still I will be. Then again I might. Then there is the deal damage, in which damage is done to this object. So it basically subtracts once subtracts the health from the damage, and one more here. If rend is not equal to null, meaning if this is not null, then it does some complex checking and then it assigns certain values and prints them out as well, just for debugging purposes. We'll remove that soon. And then if it is less than 0, then it just if it's just the fourth case, then it will destroy the rend game on. Okay, so moving on. So if the health is less than 1, then if it is an attacker, then it will add suns and coins to the suns and coins script. We will open that up too, just to show how it works. So, and then if remnants is not equal to null, meaning that there is something in that array, then it will instantiate. I just put remnants 1 because I couldn't find any other meaningful thing. So it will instantiate remnants 1, a transform position, transform rotation, and transform dot parent. Its parent. So then it will destroy itself once its health is less than 1. Though I have also kept a die script which might be called something there, but it currently is not. It was used when a different type of spawner which I was using. Currently I don't use that type of spawner. Okay, attack. So there's a speed and how often it's seen. This checking this, how fast it's going, of course, and in how many seconds does it pop up. And then there is how many suns it has to return and how many coins it has to return. And the direction in which it's going. I may or may not use this much, but I will still switch around. So, speaking of which, there is the public float starts private float start speed. This is required if you want to slow yourself down and all that. So it's just a start speed to speed, and it transform the translate direction time, speed time, time to data time. Time to data time is used for update, not fixed update, which I will not use. Okay, speaking of which, moving on. Public void decrease speed by. It will decrease the speed in a. It will decrease the speed. Okay. So then there is. Yeah. So there is the float divider and how much it needs to reduce, and float slow for seconds. How slow, for how long will it be slow? Which I'm going to do S. By the way, that also works. Just saying. So reduce speed. Haven't quite worked on this for a while. Busy fixing a few issues. Then there is the decrease. Then there is the decrease speed by I enumerator function, which takes in a divider, slow for second, just like this, and what's that? Okay, this is just there because they're so that Unity doesn't have any errors in confusing them. I could have set it to capital, but I wanted to keep it like this. So you can pass in whatever you want here and nothing will change because it's practically never used. So moving on. This is just another kind of divider. This is the absolute divider. Let's say that. Then here it sets the start speed is equal to start speed divided by divider. So it reduces the speed by the divider, then it slows it down for certain seconds. Set anime. Also it reduces the animation speed. Set animation speed is down there. Then it reduces the speed. Reset speed, I think. Yeah. RESET. Reset speed. And then it will set the speed back to start speed, and then it will set its animation speed to 1. Then set animation speed is given here. For each animator anim in game object dot just get components in children also works animator, and then you just set the anim dot speed to set speed. Okay, so this is the seed shop. There are enums, statistics, whether it was a success or a failure. Success means it was successful, you purchased it successfully, no issues, or it was not successful and it was a failure. Okay, so moving on. Public int sums and coins. This is defined start, sums and start coins. Public static int start sums and start coins. The start is static, so I can don't have to worry about it that much. Then we have the seed shop instance. This is something very useful. We will get to that soon. By static, it means that you don't need a reference to the actual game object. You just need it. You just need to write down the name of the class, and you can directly access any static stuff. Then it is a private UI label text. Very important. Text is equal to GameObject.getComponent UI label. Yeah. We'll just get the component UI label on this current game object. It says start sums to sums and start coins to coins. Then it refreshes the text right there. That works. Text.text is equal to string.concatenate sums.toString, comma new line character, comma coins.toString. I'm using string.concat because it's the formal way and I like it. Moving on, instance is equal to this. It just sets the seed shop instance to this current class. is in the start method, which it's when the game starts. Then add sons and coins. Capital A and A. So sons is equal to sons plus equals sons and coins plus equals coins. So it increases the sons by a particular amount and it increases the coins by a particular amount and then refreshes the text as well, by the way. And then it is statistics, it returns statistics, use sons and coins. Handy method here in Visual Studio, which allows me to avoid any errors like that. By the way, it's all ints because you can't quite have half sons and yeah, it doesn't make no sense. Then it reduces it and if this is possible, meaning sons, the sons you have to decrease is less, you have to make sure that the sons you are going to decrease by is less than sons, in which case it will return stat.success and refresh the text. Meaning this has to be less than this, or equal to at least. Only then will it do this, else it will just return stat.failure. That's it. Fine. Then it refreshes, we already talked about it. Reset, it resets everything here. And then it also refreshes the text. Very, very important. Okay, speaking of which, bad projectile. Bad projectile. Yeah. Speaking of which, I should also talk about the projectile though. About those warnings, they're from NGUI. They are pretty obsolete, so they have not obsolete. They're old, so they have lots and lots of warnings. I cleared up as many as I could, but some I just can't clean up. Okay, so moving on, projectile. Okay, so we have the speed, the damage it does, the splash zone, and the splash damage. All of this is pretty self-explanatory. Splash zone means what's the range listed view, and what's the splash damage 15. And then there is the direction, public vector 3, direction vector 3 dot right. Yes. And then there is a game object particles. What particles? And yeah, the particles. Then public game object array next projectiles. What are the next projectiles? These are useful for my missile launcher. But anyways, it's the only one that has some next projectiles. Otherwise, I don't actually have any next projectiles. So yeah, this is a range and it slows down the target by, and this is a header, divides the target speed by, and you can see that right there. Then we have the keeps the attacker slow for, slow down target for, slow down target by. Both are 1 because this means it's neutral and it's 0. F. I have to keep F or else it just doesn't work the ranges. Then moving on, transform or translate. We've seen this before. No need to go through it again. If on trigger enter collider call. This is an inbuilt function and this just gets the collider. You need to have a raycast attached to the front game object, and it also its box collider also needs to be set as yes. Its box collider also needs to be set as a. Its box collider also needs to be set as a trigger for this to work. Okay, so here it is. Try catch. First it checks if First it checks if it's an attacker, only then it does all of this, else don't care. And try to reduce, if it doesn't have any health, which will be very rare, then it doesn't make any sense, but if it doesn't have any health script attached to it, it won't bother about doing any error checks and printing any errors because I'm wrapped it in a try catch block. And then try, it will just instantiate each and every particle in no. And projectile and give the particle ones. So it will instantiate. If there is an error, don't bother. Then try to instantiate particles. If there isn't, don't bother. Try catch, try catch, try catch, 3 try catches. And if splash zone is okay, yeah, it has to be more than 0. Yeah, that's better. If splash zone is more than 0 only, then splash, and after that it will destroy the game object. So first it will check about all the colliders, physics.overlap sphere, transform.position, splash zone. Also, you need there to be some splash radius. For each collider item in objects, I have to name that. So game object is equal to item dot game object. If object get component attacker, and it will just reduce. It will just do this, except it's not going to do all that extra chicken and all that. Okay, moving on. Bad projectile. This will be shot as physical missiles by the rocket launcher bot. It will be missile launcher, but I kept it rocket launcher. Issues. So public float speed, 5f direction, vector 3 dot left. I changed that soon. Okay, public game object particles. So it's basically same as projectile script, except there's no splashing and there is no damage because missiles will instantly destroy the game object no matter what. And it transforms or translates, we see this very often. Then it just checks its attacker or defender, and it will destroy instantly the game object, and it will try to instantiate particles, and then it will destroy itself. Okay. Moving on. Scripts. The camera movement script. So WASD, and if it's any of these directions, it will go particular direction. This is a very complex. So zoom speed, pan speed is that. Zoom speed and pan speed. We have the pan border thickness, min x, max, min y, max y, min x, max x, or whatever. This means how far it can go. And private vector 3 start position and private quaternion start rotation. If input dot get key R, then it will just reset everything. And if input dot get key W, then it will do some of this complex checking. If it is in this direction, so it's over there, then it will move in that direction. Down here, then it will move in that direction. Oh, sorry. A and D. Sorry, I believe this is supposed to be D and A. We will have to add the up, down, left, right keys as well, but for now we won't need that. Then this is the scroll wheel moves like that, zooming, and it will clamp the positions. After doing all of this, it will math.clamp everything, and then it's that. Transform the position is equal to position. Okay, so current defender. This just gives you the current defender. So the public static current defender instance, as we did before with the seed shop. Then we have the selected defender to start defender here, and then instance is equal to this. So game object dot, if there is if the number of current defenders in the screen is If this is true, then just if there are two or more than current defenders, then it will log error. You don't want that happening. And then static game object select a defender, and then there is a get set defender. It is a much better way. I could have used properties, but I really don't want to do it right now. Though it would be a fun way to show it. So public game object defender, say get return selected value and selected defender. Ooh, we're gonna get rid of that now. So copy that, so control V, and then set that. Control C, value. So this is a property, not the official, not quite a variable yet, not a variable at all. So this isn't, yeah, well, we have it. Defender, and just going to copy this current phrase, C, and we'll have a few instances to update. So it uses this quite often, so we might have, so that's why there are these many instances to upgrade. And let's see, what is it? There it is, validation powers, and one last issue in seed packet. This is the only place where it's actually set. Otherwise, that's all of them just access it. Okay, so let's start, shall we? Continuing. So this is it. Okay, so what are we? Defender. We've been through this one. Okay, so sun cost and coin cost. Then game object upgrade, this how much suns it costs, how much coins it costs, the upgrade of it, and bool restrictable. This means it's special and can be planted on the path only, not anywhere else. Useful for potato mines and other explodey things. Then we have the then it checks the current defender dot instance, and if it is a shovel, then it will set its layer to 0, meaning default, meaning it can meaning this is now legit. Else it's layer 2, meaning layer 2 is ignore raycast, meaning this will never be called because the mouse can't be on it because, well, mouse is raycast and raycasts don't occur if you are ignoring it. But if it's set to 0, then this will be called, and if it is mouse down on it, then it will destroy this current game object. Okay, so moving on. So health. Right, so talked about this. I got it. Laser beam. Oh, he's a pretty bad one. So the damage details, everything about the damage, the range, the rotation speed, the damage each seconds, by damage, splash damage. Splash damage is does divide the target speed by, slow down, keeps the attacker slow 4, splash damage info, splash zone, and all that. Then divide the splash target speed by, and then there is a rotation unit and beautification. Purely is particles, line renderers, or the lasers, and the rend 1 and rend 2 positions. We have two line renderers since they have two eyes. Okay. So yeah, it will start by invoke repeating update target each shortest distance is equal to map depth of infinity. If there isn't anything nearby, then we'll just set it to infinity. It will be infinity. So attacker is equal to attacker nearest enemy is equal to null. We only just set it to null because if you don't set it, seriously, you need to actually set it to null by yourself, then to actually get that. Yeah. So float attacker in game object. So for each attacker in find objects of type attacker. Float distance to enemy. So yeah, distances. If distance to enemy is if it's close, if it's less than shortest distance, then shortest distance is equal to distance dot enemy, nearest enemy is equal to attack. And if nearest enemy is not equal to null and shortest distance, this is just to check if there is an attacker anyways, and shortest distance is less than or equal to range, then target is equal to nearest enemy dot game object, else target is equal to null and reset the lasers. Then it will try to lock onto the target, position the lasers, fire count down. They don't fire, it doesn't fire much, and then damage enemy seconds, damage and fire countdown minus equals time dot delta time. Very important. So vector 3 direction is equal to target dot transform dot position minus transform dot position. In reality, though, this is just so that the laser beam can look at it. I got this from the internet. It is a very basic piece of code, and I really don't understand much about it. So you could try and figure it out yourself, but I'd rather just copy paste this wherever I need it because it's very basic. Either way, quaternion.lerp just or whatever lerp function you have just means it will take the average between those, the value between those from this, the time delta time function. Anyways, moving on. Damage. So target dot get component health, deal damage by damage. We set it to by damage because it's more intuitive. Damage enemy each seconds by damage, like that. So that's why I keep it by damage. And then target dot get component attacker, decrease speed by slow down target by slow down target 4. Assigned up there. If slash damager, then splash. Whew. So rend dot set position 0 and rend position vector set position. This is the target dot position. Rend 1 dot position. No. Rend 1 position dot position. So it just gets the first position dot y. The rend 1's position. So because you don't want it to look down, it just looks weird. Then it sets the position of the other end. And particles dot set active true and particles dot transform dot position is equal to position. Okay. Else you just set everything to 0 and particles dot set active false. Splash. If collider objects, if physics overlaps via transform position. This is just basically the same thing as we did in the projectile, except now we are doing it here. Okay, so no need to go through this. This just shows the range of this as a little So here, just zoom out like that, and voila, you can see the range. That's how it works. Okay, so let's draw wires there, by the way. Okay, so moving on. Let's see. Let's be level locker. This just locks all the levels for you, and scene change button is by buttons. It's edited from one of the NGUI buttons. So because I really need a way to change the buttons, and NGUI scripts only work on NGUI, so I use one of its buttons. And disabled color is equal to color dot gray. What is the disabled color? So int level is equal to player plus manager dot get level unlocked. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to player plus manager and show that. Which level is unlocked? Unlock next level and get master value. Okay, so for I int I is equal to 0, I button dot length full stop. This just loops through all the buttons, and if the so if the index of this current button is more than the level, if it's if it's less than it's more than the level, then disabled color and disable the color, and enabled. Yeah, that's just one of the functions I added in there. Enable 2 is equal to false, meaning it won't shift and all that. So moving on. Okay, so level locker, lose collider. This just is put over there. If a tracker gets there, then lose, like that. Lose handler, well, it should be win handler as well, but it land lose handler instance, which the instance game object, game over UI, win UI, flags survived, win flags, audio clip, game over audio clip, win audio clip, win not Windows audio clip, the audio clip which is played when you win, and then the volume and the pitch. Bool locked is equal to whatever locked is. Don't quite know what locked is. Oh yeah, it's used here so as to make sure multiple instances of the same sound don't get played over and over again. So it will try to play the game over audio clip. If you lose, it will totally freeze time. Game over UI dot set active true, and flag survive detect is equal to, it will just go through very slowly, you won't see it. And then lose yes. This should make it go a little bit of increase-ish. If it works, I'll just check it. Then win. If locked, then try locked is equal to false. This is a handy method I found out. See context menu. Let's lose. Just see what happens. That and lose. There it is. I'm gonna warped. Sorry, lose handler, not collider. Collider. Let's see. A bit hard to find. The lose handler is here, right there. Now all this stuff is usually in the living room, and that's where I like to keep it. Nice sound effects, huh? So moving on. So just to give you a demo, and I think this doesn't work yet. I think this will look good. So just gonna do that. Not bother about that right now. Just gonna do that. Of course, we don't have any flags survived. Oh, speaking of which, the win is basically the same as the lose, except you play the sound win audio clip, and yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah, this should be good. And pause menu. Pause menu instance, game object pause UI, play UI, flags survived. Pause play just swaps that. And yeah, all of this is some complex stuff. Display. So moving on. Pause play button. So it just sets the it just calls the pause play instance with the play button in it, and player press manager, we've already seen it. Projectile, we've seen that too. Random shooter, okay, so range 20, rotation speed, projectiles at once, how many projectiles it shoots at once, seconds between projectiles, shoot each second, 1.5. Game object model, the rotation unit, and projectiles, what projectiles you have. So transform gun, the place at which it's shot, and these are both private, so we don't need the private script. It's attacker, sorry, access modifier. So updates the targets just like the laser beam. Yeah, that's the only thing, except it doesn't have any positionings and all that. It's the exact same thing as the laser beam. It also looks at it, except now it shoots instead of doing some damage and all that. So it will instantiate a for each loop projectiles at once, how many projectiles you have to create, and it will randomly range 0 projectiles dot length. Sorry. Random dot range 0 projectiles dot length. This just basically gets a random number for a random projectile from the game of the projectiles. So real return with seconds between projectiles, and yeah, this fire countdown, how much often it needs to fire down. This the exact same stuff you saw earlier. Just yeah, that's it. It's the exact same stuff you saw earlier. Remnant. Public game object remnants destroy after should be a fluid, but we won't worry about that. We won't worry about that right now because I have some stuff and I think it will get messed up. Just checking. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, that still stays. So after remnant means that so yeah, and I can a little bit close. This is never. Speaking, that is never a good sign. If you ever see that coming, you should open up the task manager. If not after then. So this just means that it will instantiate all of this after it is destroyed, and this will before it's destroyed after RAM. It is apparently very useful when you are having the unloaded potato mine right here. I can just write Revenant script and potato mine armed and say after run. And since it's defaulted to be false, there you go. It's very easy. Okay, Remnant's retry button just restarts the current game, reloads this current scene right there. Scene manager dot get active scene dot build index, just reload it. rotator. It rotates. It puts the attacker in this current path. Should get rid of this. Yeah. It just puts it in this current path. Then scene change button changes the scene. Scene fade. Apparently it didn't work properly. Otherwise I would have kept it on. I don't use it anyways. It doesn't work. Something like that. I've introduced you to the seed shop before. The shooter script. Okay, so don't see much difference between this. So game object model projectile seems very familiar, doesn't it? Of course it is. It's the same thing as a random shooter, except it has a very particular set of projectiles like that. Oh, by the way, that just gets yes. Let's find your access to game object. Whew. Okay, yeah, so this is the only difference. So instead of having a random projectile, it has a fixed projectile. That's the only difference. Shovel. Yeah, it's a null. It's a null object. Spawner. Enemy alive is equal to 0. It just sets it's just a spawner and all that. Don't use enemy alive much at all actually. So it's a very simple script. Waves to win. Mathf is equal to mathf.infinity by default, and spawn adder. Yeah, so I really don't remember where that's used. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so it increases the spawn rate. So then game object enemy prefabs array of enemy prefabs, and the public float wave time, the time between waves, time to prepare, no amount of seconds will be given, time between attackers, and yeah, just the distance between two attackers. Then increase spawn rate by each second. This is very important. And then text. So yeah. Did I ever used? Yeah, no, it's never used. Still have to attach that and still have to do that implementation and all that. So this still has to be implemented. So the text, countdown, the time to the next wave. We're gonna change that. So the float countdown, public static int wave number. This is accessible for, this is useful for the pause menu, the win menu, and the game over menu, and all that. Start countdown is equal to time to prepare. Update, it just if wave so it will check if the wave number is if the waves to win is more, if the wave to win is less than or is equal to the wave number, then, and it checks if the enemies alive is less than or is equal to 0. So it will never be less than 0 if it ever is. Just saying. Then it will say lose handler dot instance dot wins. Player press manager dot unlock next level. Okay, so I think you got it. Countdown is equal to, yeah, that just does that just makes sure that just this wave, just the wave countdown and all that. Countdown is not like that. You could have put that in there. You really could have put that in there. You know what? I'm gonna put that in there. Okay, moving on. Wave number plus plus. For each game object attacker in enemy prefab, float spawn rate is equal to 1 divided by attacker game object dot get component attacker dot scene in seconds times wave number plus spawn adder. So it just gets the inverse of the scene each seconds and it multiplies that by the wave number plus the spawn adder. Then it is floored to an end because you can only have it floored to an end. And then it is less than or equal to 1. Only then do this. Instantiate it, the number of stuff you instantiated, and wait for seconds time between attackers. So that. Okay, yeah, sunflower. This just looks at this, just increases the suns by, increases the coins by each second lower limit, each second upper limit, and model. So wait time counter 2, one for the suns and one for the coins. So wait time counter random dot range. So there will be different randoms. So transform target game object. Find game object with tag main camera dot transform. Have something else. Okay. Camera dot just say camera dot main dot transform, and vector 3 relative position. This just makes it look at the main camera. Okay, right. So this dot weight counter and this this just decreases and all that fun stuff. So if weight counter is less than 0, then do this. Add suns and coins, increase suns by, and set it to a random range again. If weight time counter, this one is for coins, and then increase the coins by, and then do it again, and then repeat, and it will constantly keep looking at you thanks to this. Yeah, I saw that that sound, but it feels better. S-lur. So let's see. Just checking as well. That's a nice effect. Tile. Hover material and pressed material. Hide in inspector game object defender. You don't want to be saying this, okay? So public pool restricted. So if this ties with the defender's restrictable one, the defender's restrictable script bool, we'll get to that soon. And public static bool enabled. That's just used for disabling when you are currently putting your mouse pointer on all of this. Okay, so rend is equal to get component mesh renderer, and start material is equal to rend dot material. Simple. On mouse enter, the mouse is still hovering on it. Then enabled and time.timescale is somewhere not very close to 0, is not less than 0 or equal to 0.1. Then it says render material is equal to over material. void on mouse exit. Red material is equal to start material. Once the mouse exits, you want to set start material. On mouse down, if time scale, if time scale and is still enabled, only then instantiate a defender. Okay, so if defender is equal to object is equal to current defender dot instance dot defender dot get component defender. Huge. So current defenders instance defender and the actual defender component of the defender. So yeah, moving on. If defender is not equal to null and is enabled, we checked that there, but if it ever gets set somewhere in between, then still to check here. And this is a success, and if restricted and object is still restrictable, then we instantiate it. Else, meaning this is not restricted, and that means that the object has to be not restrictable as well, or else it might instantiate a mine on a place where the zombies can't even step. That literally makes no sense. And even after all of this, if the defender is equal to null, because if this was a success and we didn't instantiate it, I would have to do lots of if checks outside, inside, everywhere. It will just be very complex. So I just did this. If defender is still equal to null even after instantiating, then it will add suns and coins objects.sunCost and object.coinCost. And else object is equal to defender.get component defender. Sorry about that. That's just my little sister. She's 1.5. Yeah, never mind. Object is equal to defender.get component defender. Yeah, I should have given a better name. Defender is equal to object.upgrade.get component defender. This has an upgrades on it, by the way. Is it? So if current defender.instance.defender.get component upgraded tag. So if the current defender's instance.defender.get component upgraded tag and object.upgrade is not equal to null, then if it is a success, then destroy the original defender, and defender is equal to up and upgrade it, and render material is press material, and defender is equal to upgrade. So yeah, that concludes tile. The tile is very busy script. Tile blocker, yeah, we got rid of everything in that. Whew. Okay, so this is like the laser beam, except it doesn't do any damage. Okay, so splash targets no damage. Trust me. So free sticks onto the target for percentage of 2 seconds. Very important stuff. Okay, so right, freeze, right there, freeze time divided by 100. So yeah, just start count. Don't remember. Yeah, start count is equal to 2 times f times where's that? Freeze time divided by 100. It needs to get the percentage of it. So yeah, that's fine. So if splash freezer, then splash, right? There. There you go. Just the exact same thing, except it slows down splash target by and start count. Except now it's for half the time. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is pretty good. So almost there yet. UI seed packet. It just sets this I meant to show you. So sun label and coin label and defender prefab. So defender prefab is equal to get component defender. Defender. Dot and cost dot string. It just gets the some labeled text. It sets it. And on disable, no. Yeah, here it is. On press current defender dot instance dot defender is equal to defender prefab. Okay. Current defender instance dot defender is equal to defender prefab as we did before. Okay. So let's close that. And upgraded tag, just a tag, as it says. Waypoints, though we will never be using those. They were used in my earlier game in which I used cruder attackers and defenders, such as spears and all that. Very helpful, I would say so. Okay, yeah. So this is pretty good. So, hope you enjoyed it.